God damn it, my knickers are coming off tonight. A man of rare wit and subtle sophistication. Call off the search. I'm just tired. I'm not tired. I'm old. I'm older is what it is. I got these bruises. Got bruises on my arm. Do you know what they're from? I don't. You know who? I just wake up with bruises now. I wake up bruised. I haven't taken a nap in the afternoon because I have to take naps now. I have to take naps because my body can't digest chips and watch television at the same time. That's a state it's in. My heart rate says I can pump enough blood around the body for one, but no more multitasking, man. You just can't do it.
We're counting down my 5 basic rules of telling a joke, and we're already at number 4, which is know where you're going before you start. This is essentially what I've been saying about knowing your punchline. Make sure when you start telling your joke, you know where you're going to end up. Otherwise, you might get lost on the way. It's 2 charming comedians in a row now. He's a delightful Australian. If ever there's an oxymoron, that's one. It's Adam Hills.
You know, I have a great time travelling because I've got an artificial foot, which is something you can never tell people as a comedian and have them believe you. It goes from, like, the knee down. Oh, look at you all go, oh, my God, he's telling the truth. Please, no, thank you for applauding, but it's not Oprah. It's a great thing to travel with. I went through Heathrow Airport 3 days after the September 11 attacks in 2001. And the reaction of my foot was fantastic. And amongst all the fear and terror surrounding what was going on, I walked through a metal detector at the airport. It went off. Beep, 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 beep. They're right over here. Come on over here. Put your arms out. Put your arms out. And they started to pad me down. And I'm standing there and they're going... Right, what's going on down there? And all I said to the guy just went, oh, that's an artificial foot. And he went, oh, geez, go through, mate. No, just go through. Just walk. Just go.
Now it's time for number 3 in my 5 basic rules of joke telling. It's something that catches a lot of people out. Don't over-elaborate. Use as few words as possible in your jokes. I promise you, about 50% of the time I spend writing jokes is working out how to make them as short as possible. Eddie Izzard makes a ramble seem funny, but for the rest of us, the longer the joke is, the more likely it is to end up an ugly mess on the floor, like Amy Winehouse outside a nightclub, and nobody wants that. Here's veteran funny man and comedy legend, Bob Newhart.
Yeah, who is it, Murray? Sir Walter Raleigh from the colonies. Oh, yeah, put him on, will you? Harry? Yeah, you want to pick up the extension? It's Nutty Wall again. Hi, Walt, baby. How are you, guy? What is it this time, Walt? You got another winner for us, do you? Tobacco. What's tobacco, Walt? It's a kind of leaf. And you bought 80 tons of it. Let me get this straight now, Walt. You bought 80 tons of leaves? This may come as kind of a surprise to you, Walt, but come fall in England here, we're kind of up to our... It isn't that kind of leaf. What is it, a special food of some kind, is it, Walt? Not exactly. It has a lot of different uses. Like, what are some of the uses, Walt? Are you saying snuff, Walt? What's snuff? You take a pinch of tobacco... and you shove it up your nose. And it makes you sneeze, huh? I imagine it would, Walt, yeah. Gee, goldenrod seems to do it pretty well over here. It has some other uses, though. You can chew it, or put it in a pipe, or you can shred it up and put it on a piece of paper and roll it up Don't tell me, Wal. Don't tell me. You stick it in your ear, right, Wal?
Number 2 in my list of the 5 rules of joke-telling can be one of the most difficult to get right. It's try to project a demeanour of relaxed confidence. I know that's all very well for me to say with my shiny suits and my big face, but it's a different matter when you're down the pub with your mates and you suddenly realise that the entire table has gone quiet and everyone is listening to you. My advice is to give yourself permission to laugh. If you don't look tense telling your joke, then hopefully your audience will relax too, creating a virtuous circle through which your funny story can be elegantly delivered, without touching the sides. Lee Mack is one of the best comedians working today, a real professional. His delivery is no perfect every time. It's not that I love him or anything, I just think he's good at what he does, so don't start any rumours. Anyway, here he is, Lee Mack. He's dreamy.
I'm glad I'm not looking for a job nowadays, though, because the job centre now, it's just aimed at kids, isn't it? It is. I mean, I went to the job centre the other day, and there's this poster outside. It was scandalous. Do you know what it said? Are you looking for a job, innit? I thought, what? It said on it, it did. It said on this poster, are you looking for a job, innit? I thought that's just so patronising. You know, we're not all kids. We're not all off the street. We're not all homeboys looking for enough respect. There's some people out there wanting jobs. Are you looking for a job, innit? I actually went in and complained. I said, what's all that about? It's like kids advertising. We're looking for a job, innit? And she said, it doesn't say that. I said, what does it say? She said, are you looking for a job in IT?
We're always hearing negative stuff, but Britain is home to the best workforce in Europe, the Poles. And number 1 on my list of the top 5 rules for telling a joke is coming up after these adverts. Well, not so much adverts, more Marcus Brigstock talking about adverts. This is the BBC, after all.
Is anyone else here bothered by the number of claims direct, sue everyone you know style adverts on the TV? Where's this hideousness come from, this thing I'm in pain, therefore someone must owe me money? You know? For those of you muttering America, it was rhetorical, but bless you for joining in. You know when these ads are coming on as well, because people start walking at you from funny angles on the TV. You just be watching telly and suddenly someone's gone like that. Have you been hurt in an accident at home or in the workplace? Reassuring 45-degree slant there. Every day, homeowners like you... What are you doing? They have little offices set up with all the desks at the right angle, don't they, so they can come through. Worried about fees? You're not. They put it in a tiny office, 4 desks and a strip light, because they're just like us. It costs £1 million a week to run those commercials. Someone somewhere's having a toffee crisp, and it's not us. These ads are wrong. You seen that one, I was carrying a bucket of boiling tar at work, and I fell over a bit of wood that shouldn't have been there. Mate, you work on a building site. That's pretty much where bits of wood belong. If you were a waiter and there was a bit of wood there, I'd say fair enough. You got more mariniere all over your face and you should sue somebody. But no, you work on a building site. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never carried a bucket of boiling tar in my life. I think that's pretty obvious. But there is one word of the two that would make me treat it with some caution. That'd be the word boiling, ladies and gentlemen. Boiled a kettle once or twice, happen to know it gets pretty hot. Also seen 1 or 2 episodes of Casualty, happen to know that tar will stick to you like a bitch. You would think, would you not, that rule 1 in the guidebook of how to carry buckets of boiling tar would be, look where you're going, numbnuts!
OK, so we're counting down my top 5 rules of joke-telling, and finally, we've got to number 1. Exciting, isn't it? And at number 1, it's perhaps the most important rule of them all. It's simply, enjoy yourself. If you're all tense and having a miserable time telling your joke, then it's sort of a pointless exercise. And if you feel like your self-esteem needs the approval that comes with getting a joke right, you're either investing too much in this joke or you should be telling them for a living. Either way, you shouldn't do it unless it makes you happy. So, those are my 5 basic rules for joke telling. Good, weren't they? Here's someone who doesn't need lessons in comedy. In fact, he probably gives lessons. It's Dara O'Brien.
And we'll even take something for granted about our own health. There's a thing on the cover of the London Evening Standard. The London Evening Standard, during the year, had this thing where it said 10 symptoms you should not ignore. And you read that and you're thinking, right, this is going to be something which I've had for a while, but it's been low level and I've never done anything about it, but it hasn't gone away and maybe I should get that checked out. That's what you presume it is, you know what I mean? And like, that pain in my arm is still there. I can't seem to clear that chesty cough. The first 3 symptoms you should not ignore were rectal bleeding, loss of height, and sudden blindness. Who ignores sudden blindness? Who sits in the office at lunchtime going, who turned out the lights? I know, I can't see a thing, it's awful, I'm no use to anyone today. Here, I'll answer phones. That's all I can do, that's all I'll be good for today. Oh, don't make a fuss. And by the way, I wouldn't dream of lecturing you on how to live your life. I wouldn't dream of lecturing you about health. That would be arrogant of me, like as arrogant as these people. Like, look at me, I'm a big guy, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm no model for anyone when it comes to health. I winter well, as we say, euphemistically. And I know this, it gets reflected to me in weird ways. We went to buy a car during the year. Myself and the wife went to buy a car, and we're sitting in the garage, and on the garage forecourt, they had a little 2-seater sports car, and I said, listen, I know we're not going to buy, can I just sit in it? Because I've always wanted one, can I just sit in it? She goes, all right, you can. And I sat in the little 2-seater sports car, and I just looked at her and went, how do I look? She goes, you look like Noddy. I went into Harvey Nicks like a fool. I went into Harvey Nicks, right? And I was sitting in Harvey Nicks and I saw this little, in the menswear department, a little jacket. I thought, this is quite nice. And I went to the guy on the counter and said, I'm sorry, would you have this in my... Which is as far as I got before a hand shot up to my mouth and he went, don't say another word, just get out. Just get out now. We've nothing for you here. Just leave now, Shrek, before I light a torch and chase you out of the building. What? For you, that? I'd have to sell you 7 of them and stitch them together into some sort of pelt that you could wrap around yourself in your cave for the winter. Get out, you're blocking the light to the shop. Get out. And I've tried the gym. Jesus, I've tried the gym. I just couldn't take the amount of holding. They're obsessed in the gym with getting it to hold thing. In the real world, I pick up heavy thing, I know where it's going, and I bring it there immediately. I don't stand around counting to 10 with the heavy thing in my hand. I don't want to be a removals man for an indecisive client. Going, ooh, piano there, I can't decide. And then they're going, that's okay, I trained for just such a situation.
Phew, what a show it's been. In just half an hour, we've turned cat-handed, knock-kneed joke-tellers into gag-meisters of the highest order. Well done, everyone. Please use the skills you've learned here today wisely, only in self-defence and as an absolute last resort. I've been Jimmy Carr. See you next time. That was Jimmy Carr's Comedy Cuts with me, Jimmy Carr. It was written by me and Dom English and was produced by Paul Russell. This was an open mic production for BBC Radio 2.